All right, we're going to take a look at number 5 as the way that the data table is shown here is a little different. Notice everything's in decimals. What is that telling us? So the first thing I want to go over here for number 5 is, what is the data table showing us here? So if I look at these decimal places, I can understand what's going on a little bit more by saying a couple of things, right? It's talking about relative frequencies. So relative frequencies is a technical term for percentages. So instead of like whole numbers, like saying that there were 48 English um, people with brown or hazel eyes, they're actually talking about that being 48% of English people have brown and hazel eyes, right? So the point 48 is really 48%. And because the total 100% is in the row, it's out of the English people, right? So people from England. And then in this row, we'd be looking at the percentage of German people and the percentage of Italian. Okay, so think about it in terms of that. That's what these rows are giving us, percentage of English, all right, that have brown and hazel eyes, then the 50% of English have blue or hazel eyes, and then 2% of English have brown, other color eyes. Okay. So when we go through looking at our answer choices and finding out which one is true, um, we look at the whole thing that they're telling us. Okay. So when we look at part A, I'm going to clear off the screen here so that we can get a fresh start. All right, part A says there are the same number of English people and Italian people with other colors. Okay, so what are they trying to get at? Well, if I look at this graph, English people with other is 2%, Italian people with other is 2%. What we have are percentages, not actual numbers. We don't know how many English people are in this group or Italian. So because it says same number, not percentage, this is wrong. This data table only gives us percentages. I could have like 100 English people and 20 Italian people in this group. So you don't want to get caught looking at numbers. We're looking at percentages. Okay. So these questions here, let's say more likely or less likely, those are the ones that we'll be able to verify using the graph. So now let's take a look at part B. Okay, part B tells us that Italians are more likely, right? That means a higher percentage. So if I see more likely, I'm thinking higher percentage to have brown or hazel eyes than Germans. So we have Italians and Germans that we're comparing their eye colors. Okay, so are the Italians more likely to have brown or hazel eyes than Germans? So let's take a look at the categories. So out of the Italians, 80% have brown or hazel eyes. Okay, so then let's compare that to the Germans. Germans have 40%. So are Italians more likely to have brown or hazel eyes than Germans? Absolutely, right? This one is higher. So our answer for this is B. Okay. But we're going to continue on with C and D just so that we can discuss some of the pitfalls that we can sometimes have in answering some of these questions. So let's start with looking at C. All right, C says a German person is more likely to have brown or hazel eyes than blue or green eyes, okay? And then we're looking at Germans. The Germans said that 47% have this brown or hazel eyes. So we look at that percentage, right? Where are the blue and green eyes? That's the 52%. Brown and hazel eyes are not more likely, right? It's the other way around. So this is no, not more likely. A person with brown or hazel eyes is least likely to be German. So what's the problem with D? D is going to give us an issue because it's talking about the wrong category. It says a person with brown or hazel eyes. Okay, we are not looking at this group with the raw total being out of brown or hazel eyes, right? If this were the answer choice, I would have seen a total here at the bottom of brown and hazel eyes of 100%, right? I would see this 1.000, indicating that I am taking it out of people with brown and hazel eyes. That's the category. But that's not the case here. We're only looking at a percent of where they're from, not what eye color they are. So I can't compare German to the other groups here because we're not comparing it out of people with brown and hazel eyes. We're only comparing it to people out of the where they're from, nationality. So that's the part that's wrong here. It's not of eye color, it's of nationality. And where do we see that? Well, the nationality is English, German, and Italian, and the raw total is in that category, not in the eye color category. So think about that when you answer these. It was not given out of eye color. Okay.